Ola's here, which is excellent. I have a great panel today that I think you're over there. It's gonna get me either way. We have a great panel today on some lead generation. My first person on the panel is Stella Kalogirou. Stella is from the Allendale office. She is one of our top producers. She has a small team that she is forming. Been in the business for 23 years. I think you're gonna love everything she has to say. Karen Peters, the famous Karen Peters from the Wayne office. I told someone yesterday Karen Peters was on my panel and she said to me, I love that woman. She is 3/4 full. Not half full, her glass is 3/4 full. And that is a super, super compliment. Amanda Ning, I hope she is here from Hoboken. She's supposed to be here at 10:45. She is a newer agent out of the Jersey City Hoboken office, and she has some great stuff for us. And Jay Levine, who is in our Ridgewood office. He just joined us last year, had his own company, 194. He's doing super, super fabulous. You will love everything he has to say. So truly, just sit tight as soon as I bring these tools in, and I really do hope Amanda's here. Amanda, are you here? I have one more minute. She has one more minute. Oh, where do you want to put it? Don't. Okay. Welcome. Karen, what one word would you use to describe yourself and why? And can you also share a fun fact about yourself so everyone here will get to know you a little bit better?
So this was a hard one, coming up with one word. We talked about it a lot. So I would say determined, because I'm never going to give up. And I used to be a hairdresser way back in the day, which some people know and some people don't.
And can you tell us why determination?
As I said, I don't believe in giving up. Life has its challenges, the market has its challenges, and you just have to keep on going. And you have to come up with new ideas and change things, pivot when you have to pivot, as Will knows that word very well. And just make it happen. And whatever you need to do to make it happen, you have to be determined to do it.
Excellent. Stella.
Good morning, everyone. My one word would be grit, which is very similar to determined, but grit is a word that encompasses a lot of different characteristics. And the word grit, or being gritty, does encompass having perseverance, having resiliency, and having the type of attitude where you don't really let yourself feel defeated, and being adaptable. So for me, it's being gritty.
Jay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So hello everyone. First off, thanks Ryan. Thank you everybody for being here today. Happy Wednesday. So I thought about this a lot, and I thought about words like resilient and things of that nature, and I thought to myself, all right, is it a word that describes me, or is it a word that I identify with? So the word that I identify with is a word called actualizer. And the word actualizer is not like a sports drink by Logan Paul, but what it is, it means to be coaching, training, and consulting, because I believe truly that it's not just about coaching, it's not just about training, it's not just about consulting. To coach someone is to help them emotionally get through what they're looking to get through. To train someone is to be in the trenches with them and actually train them to do things. And to consult them is to show them what to do. So all three of those put together is what I would call an actualizer, and that's how I identify. And a fun fact about myself, so fun facts, I was told about 37 times, I won't name names, to wear a suit and not to wear my hat. And then we get the CEO coming up in a hat. I just want to say thank you for that. And next time I'm here, I'm wearing my polo banker hat.
Stella, can you tell us your fun fact?
Yes, my fun fact is that I'm a DIYer. I can use like a ton of power tools, table saws. I've sheetrocked, I've tiled. So don't let the suit fool you. I am gritty in that sense too. I do like to get my hands dirty and try out different construction projects.
Awesome. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you.
What one word would you use to describe yourself and why? And can you share one fun fact about yourself with the group?
Yes, Sure. So one word I would describe myself as would be driven. And I think that I got this quality from when I was young. I was doing competitive cheerleading, competitive dance since I was 8. So our coaches have drilled in us to keep being better, push yourself to your limits, and to really try to get to the next level. And so I feel like I took that quality with me to my adulthood life and into real estate now. So I constantly every day try to be the best agent I can be for my clients and really try to bring my business to the next level. Fun fact about me is I worked in corporate for about 7 years. I was actually working at Google as a recruiter, and then I finally had my breaking point and was like, no more of this. I want to be my own boss. I want to get into real estate. And so here I am today.
Great. I'm going to start the next question with you, if that's okay.
Sure.
What strategies do you use to stay motivated to prospect daily and engage in lead generation during market fluctuations?
Yeah, I would say for me, it's about mindset. I really try to remind myself that to really have that abundance mindset, because in sales, we're always going to have ebbs and flows in the business. So I really try to create opportunities for myself, make myself approachable and friendly and available so that clients come to me and hopefully they're attracted by my energy and will want to work with me.
Jay?
Same question?
Yes, same question. It's not a trick.
Repeat the question for me.
What do you think this is? I'm in charge of. What strategies do you use to stay motivated to prospect daily and engage in lead generation during market fluctuations?
So I feel as though sometimes strategies can be disjointed tips and tricks. So I don't necessarily use any strategies, and I also feel like motivation can wear off when the market fluctuates, or you have a bad day, or you step on your cat, or whatever it is that you do that kind of makes you feel that way. So really, it's really about having a formula. So I believe it's not just about a strategy, but creating predictable experiences with the people that I'm looking to cause more business with. So, some of the traditional things that we're doing are working, and it's about connecting with people at a deeper level. Like you had said, there's a level of attraction, but I don't believe that the market dictates, my business. I believe that I dictate the market, and if I look for people that want to sell, it's not going to be as easy as or as optimal as finding people that need to sell. So what I look to do is merge with the types of people that are connected to people that need to buy and sell, rather than maybe want to buy and sell. And if you want to, I'm still going to take that as well.
Stella?
So my answer is twofold also. So I worked in corporate America for simultaneously while I was a realtor for 20 years. So I've been in the business for 23 years. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for 20 years while being in real estate. And I think for me, time management was always a really critical component of what I did, because I had to manage 2 full-time careers. So I became extremely organized. And I think one of the critical ways of making sure I'm staying abreast of what I'm doing every single day is holding myself accountable, right? Accountability is huge. So I structure it on a yearly basis. I always use goals for myself. I'm very competitive with myself. And so every year I sit down and I say, what do I want to accomplish? Whether it's, going up in Circle of Excellence, and Margaret knows this, she's my managing broker. So it's achieving a certain stage of Circle of Excellence. It's maybe I want to put an addition on my house or change my kitchen, or whatever it is, build a team. So one of my team members is back there. So that's something that is coming to fruition this year for me once I pivoted away from my corporate career. So time management and organization are 2 of the critical things that keep me focused. And I look at it as 1 year, then I break it down to quarterly, then I break it down to monthly. And so Margaret had made the suggestion to me a couple of years ago to always have this in a space that is in front of me. And I find that we as agents, because we're in the car, and I was in pharmaceutical sales, so believe me, I've lived my whole adult life working out of a car. I've had a million notebooks, I've had my phone, I've had notes everywhere. But until I put this large calendar right in front of my desk, where I am documenting daily what I am doing and putting all my leads there and putting my appointments on that calendar and structuring myself, yearly, quarterly, monthly, and then moving those monthly targets when I don't meet those targets into the next month. That is what really keeps me on task and motivated. But then the second part of that is, I'm all about relationships. It's like the essence of who I am as a person. My relationships mean everything to me. Relationships come first. So I keep myself motivated by touching base and making time for those relationships. And so I had to be very strategic about that time that I was investing in the business when I had another full-time career. And those relationships were ones that were already in the business. So when you're looking for ways to establish leads for yourself, right? For me, it was, let me connect with mortgage brokers, let me connect with people in title. I'm a real estate investor. That's what allowed me to pivot comfortably out of my corporate career. So for me, it was, let me talk to people who do 1031 exchange, intermediaries, and using what they shared to kind of help motivate me to learn more about the business, and then that turns into lead generation. So always finding your little niche and constantly working that niche, because if people trust you and they trust the knowledge base you bring, the leads will automatically come.
Karen.
So I'm a very big picture thinker, and I also am obsessed with the long game. I heard something the other day that kind of resonated with me, that we all know you never know where a deal is gonna come from, but you can meet with a seller today that may not sell for a year, but they can refer two of their friends to you. So I never look at anything as today, I look at what could happen in the future, and the chess playing, I guess you would call it. So last January, my business was not great. The weather was cold, the inventory was down, I was recovering from major medical issues, and my business was like bad. And the team was doing well, but I was gonna have a nervous breakdown. So I said to myself, you cannot wait for the phone to ring. You have to do something to make the phone ring. So I actually did 1,200 CMAs over about a 3-week period, somewhat custom to neighborhoods, sent out 1,200 CMAs, which was a lot of highlighters and red pens and with a beautiful letter. It was a very basic CMA, generated quite a bit of business. Thankfully, it's very funny because long term, I listed a house yesterday for $1.62 million in Wayne. They had the CMA in their drawer. When I got there, they pulled it out and they said, this is why we called you. Now, I knew I sent it to that street, but it was long term. So I also believe you have to be the knowledge broker. When the market shifts, which, come on, we've had major shifts going on, you have to be able to talk to the consumers, whether it's on social media or when you meet with them, they want information. So what you say to them really does matter, and they will respect you for it. As you said, they'll trust you, right? They want to work with you, but you also need to know, and we were talking about this other day with Margaret, you need to know when to stop talking. So not so much when you're talking with somebody, but when you feel like the commission conversation's over, stop talking about it, right? Just move on. So show your knowledge, it will help you with business, and then move on from that, because you never want to be the person that's obsessed about something and that's all you're known for. So show your value, show your trust, and then keep moving on and showing your value.
Good thing you didn't have to pay for copies like KW. 1,200 CMAs is a lot of paper.
Rob Norman, go like this, la 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 la. I did buy my own paper, just so you know.
That's what they all
Because
say.
we took all the paper out of Wayne's office, so I had to buy more paper. Okay,
Okay, you good?
good.
Okay, Jay, I'm going to start this one with you.
Sure.
How do you balance trying innovative lead generation methods while still leveraging the traditional approaches? Or do you?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Juicy at the end. Listen, you can't steer away from the traditional sense of marketing, right? You can't deny that door knocking and meeting people and sending out the flyers, but you have to be consistent with it. So what I find for our team and some of the newer agents, it's tough to be consistent with sending out marketing because it can get expensive. So for us, it's a mixture of that, and I believe, as you just shared before, so like relationships are the key to business. And if you look down at relationships, how do you gain relationships? By doing things with people that you want to have relationships with, and that's where the business comes from. So for me, it becomes, how do I create the most intentional and predictable, because I believe all of us up here would be a lot less stressed if we knew exactly how many sales meetings we were gonna have next month and could control that predictably. So for me, I know there's no 100% way to be completely predictable, but if I, for instance, am merging what I call merging ecosystems, not necessarily strategic partnerships, not necessarily referrals, again, we'll take referrals, but that's not what we're out there looking for. It's the long-term relationships. It's the ones that make sense. And for instance, I have relationships with judges that I get appointed onto cases for when they can't decide on a realtor. And just recently, it led to something in the millions and millions of dollars. So, having these types of connections and intentionally looking for them and adding value to them. Because I know I'm not gonna close or pitch a judge, but I can add massive value to what he does and potentially even connect him to more of the people that he's looking to connect to get his business even more optimally going forward. And that's what we look to do for people, and that creates that referral relationship, which we call ecosystem merging, but it's more than that, right? It's deeper than just a one-off. It is creating those long-term relationships integrally, intentionally. We have it with divorce attorneys, estate planning attorneys, mortgage brokers, bankers, doctors. Actually, after this, I have a phone call with an association of 20,000 members. I won't name the association at the moment, but 20,000 members that we're talking about doing a speaking engagement in front of. So I'm pretty sure next month, if I'm speaking in front of 20,000 people, I can predict a few of those to turn into sales meetings.
I would really be sick. I can barely do 400. Okay, Amanda,
Yes.
you're up.
To piggyback off of that, I would say I try to treat everyone that I meet as if they are going to be my next $10 million client. And because you really never know who you're going to meet. For example, I was doing a showing for one of my listings, regular showing, asked him questions about, where does he live, and the forward questions like family, occupation, et cetera. And then afterwards, it turns out that he owns 10 other properties in the area and is also president of this community. So I feel like you never know who you're going to meet. He ended up inviting me to one of his community events. I met a lot of the people in the community, his friends and his family. And then he referred me to 2 other people looking to sell, and then another friend who's looking to buy. So I know it's hard when you're having a bad day, you're just like, I don't want to talk to this person or whatever, but just try to put in effort in everyone that you meet and make them feel valued and appreciated, and I feel like that'll go a long way.
Karen.
So I'm obsessed with numbers, and I'm definitely not the operations person in our group. I'm definitely the artist and the lister, but every single week I know exactly how many houses we put under contract, I know how many offers we write, I know how many deals we have, and I think it's really important that if you're trying to figure out where to do your marketing and how to blend all that for the best of your business, whether you do 10 deals a year or 400 deals a year, we know where every single deal comes from. So right now, thank goodness, we're at 59 deals as of this morning for our group. Yes, thrilled. But one thing I'm not thrilled about is 54% of those are from the internet. And it should be the opposite. We should be 50-some percent or 60% from our SOI. So next week, how do we ramp up our SOI? Now, clearly, the internet's not a bad thing, and we are ZillowFlex partners, which I'm thrilled. And it does give us, abundance of leads, but you need to know where your business is coming from. And then if you know where every deal's coming from, you know if your postcards are working. If you know that you have, 5 deals from postcards, do your postcards, right? Or if you don't have any ROI from your postcards, at some point you need to stop. So if you know your numbers, know your ROI, you can run your business so much more effectively and know where to spend the marketing dollars. And I think that's really important, no matter if you sell 5 houses or 500.
Stella,
So.
You want me to
don't
repeat the question?
No, I know the question and I might get a little heat for my answer.
uh-oh.
I love you.
I don't do much of the traditional route. I was in a full-time career up until last year, and I almost had to make sure that I wasn't stepping on toes because I was trying to manage both opportunities at the same time. So I couldn't necessarily blanket my township with postcards and things like that because it's not that I didn't want to bring the business, because believe me, I wanted to bring the business, but it just wasn't an avenue that I could use at that time. With that being said, I had a phenomenal year last year, and I've had growth year over year, and I would love to do postcards in the future because we're looking to broaden our business, but to get to the level where my business is at right now, I can tell you guys that you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money or make a big investment financially to be able to grow your business. I tap into my connectors. I'm really big on connectors because connectors already know you, right? So you're not selling a person from scratch. Get to know me, who I am, what I can offer, why choose me over somebody else. Your connectors already know you. They're like free networkers for you. So if you build those relationships with those connectors, they'll end up feeding out information about you, and you will get that residual business. I do know, though, that we do have to continue to work and look for new business opportunities. So I'm very big on current events. I mentioned before, I'm also an investor. So for me, I watch the markets, I see what's going on in the economy, I talk to other real estate investors, and so I post a lot on social media. My handle is up there if anyone wants to take a picture of it, but I am on social media and I put stories up, and I talk about things like how to do a tax-deferred 1031 exchange, how to make sure that you're capitalizing out on all of your investment properties, how to leave your corporate job through real estate being like a resource for you. And so those types of conversations just happen naturally. People reach out to me, and in the last 2 years, I've built a whole portfolio of young investors who want to get out of the corporate grind because of the attrition that happens in corporate America. So it just started coming in naturally. So I definitely, as I continue to build my team in the future, I will invest in more traditional routes, especially now that I've stepped away from that other business that I was in, but I don't think it's completely necessary to spend that kind of money if you don't have it, especially in a down market.
Can I just add something real quick?
Yes, please do.
I think everybody up here and everybody in the room too obviously has the skill set of being able to cause yes with integrity, because all of this is great, all of the processes that we're being taught, all of the strategies, the tips, but if you don't have the ability to cause yes with people, then you really have nothing. And if you don't have the ability to cause yes with yourself and get yourself to do these things and forget about the fear of rejection, fear of failure, it doesn't exist, and move forward, that's how none of this is going to work unless we can do that, because a lot of people I see hide behind traditional marketing and sending out flyers and emails rather than just picking up the phone and talking to the people directly and maybe inviting them. And I didn't meet these judges and divorce attorneys by accident because I accidentally
You were arrested?
Right. It wasn't because I got divorced 15 times.
People use connectors in different ways.
It was my first call, my only call, my one call. But I invite them intentionally to do things that's not going to just be what I want, but to give them what they want, right? The value that they're looking for.
I think your word should be intention. It's such a good word for you.
Intentionality. I like
Yes,
it. It was there was 57 words.
It was,
So just
okay.
like,
Whew.
I have a lot of words.
So I do a lot of postcard mailing also, and I recently found out about CoreFact on our CB desk. I don't know if this is new or old, and sorry if it is and I'm repeating myself, but it basically automates your postcards each month. And I know for me, I find it so mundane and it's like a chore to me when I think about, okay, what do I need to put on my postcard next? And like, what, content or whatever do I need to put on it? Who am I gonna mail it to? And then I have to take it to the post office after that, and I feel like it's just the whole process. So if you're looking for an easy process, and you just wanna automate it, just pay your dollars, your marketing dollars to it, then you can just shut that part of your mind off. I would recommend doing that, and it's on CB Desk.
Okay, Karen, this is specific for you. You have a strong conviction about why you believe one listing turns into 3. How do you make this happen, and can you share with us your personal journey in building your team?
So the one deal turns into 3 comes a little bit from anxiety. So as I said to you, I'm a breast cancer survivor, so it was kind of a rough 2 years, but doing fantastic. And I had to, continue growing my business. When I was out, 5 surgeries, chemo, the whole entire thing, I was working my business, but I was not working on my business. So every time someone got a listing, unless it was a Coldwell Baker listing, I would freak out because I'm like, oh God, she got a listing, he got a listing, that's 3. I'm a business coach, that's how we're trained, right? So that philosophy of one lead, one transaction turns into 3 was very good for me until it wasn't. So I turned that into what can we do to turn each deal, each listing, hopefully into 3. So we put together, a very basic plan. We drop off brochures to certain neighbors. We send them a marketing booklet to certain neighbors as soon as that house goes on the market. We send them a very cute postcard talking about we listed it. As soon as it goes under contract, we send another postcard. We call the surrounding streets. One thing we don't really do a lot with, which is shameful to say, is the open houses. That's my next plan. But as soon as it gets sold, we send out another really great postcard to the same people. So 20 homeowners are getting hit by us 4 times. So once again, long term, right? You never know where a buyer or seller is going to come from, and that's something we put into a system, and it's rinse and repeat. So thankfully, I have a great staff. They take care of it. I know that we're hitting those people, and if you think about it, how many times have you seen a for sale sign go up, and then 2 weeks later, another one goes up? Well, that makes me want to cry. So if we're going to try to get it, we're going to try to get it, okay? The other thing was the team. So a team's, challenging to build, and I'm sure you've heard this over and over and over again, but it's the truth. So I've been trying to build a team for quite a while based on, having too many leads. Everything just kind of happens naturally. I actually don't know how I ended up here.
It's the 3/4 full.
It is, yes. So one day I woke up and I was like, oh God, we need an agent. Oh, I need the staff. So it just builds. As I said, I have a business coach, which is very helpful. In the last 2 years, our team is rocking. In the last year, we're on fire. And that really comes down to accountability. We've become much more accountable with the agents. And interesting, who mentioned accountability? You did. They want it. They asked us for more. You feel like you're being a snip with them, but they were begging us, like, can you guys please hold us more accountable and continue the accountability? And also scripting. You need to know what to say to the consumer. I mean, there's a 30-year-old saying, don't practice on your paycheck. We script a lot, objections, know what to say, and also listen, know when to listen to people and help them. So those would really be the things I think that's helped our team tremendously. And I'm thrilled. It's great.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay,
Yes.
you had your own business and now you're with CB for about a year. How has your transition been? Can you share a specific challenge generating leads or finding listings not being your own, and how you transformed it into an opportunity for growth?
So it is over a year now. It was January when we first came on. So very happy here. Thank you, Ines. Thank you for that. I would say in the beginning, what I thought was going to be the challenge was going to be my losing of my identity, right? It came from the reason I was in my own company was because I felt as though I wanted to have that identity piece locked in. And the wonderful thing about Coldwell Banker is they did allow me to keep the team and my identity, and even so much as continue to teach, train, actualize the agents the way that we were doing before at 194. So I don't actually feel many challenges coming over it. I do feel as though the brand recognition certainly helps, but no takeaway from any brokerage. But I really think it matters mainly about the individual, right, and the team at that point, and how you present yourself and how you're out there in the market. And just like you said, it's the ability to actually cause that yes with people, to be able to ask the right questions. And for me, and I cringe sometimes with the word script, but I'm
No, I get it. I hate the word.
right, pitch, close, script. There's a formula out there, and we have access to it, and we use it every single day. And asking powerful questions, building rapport, finding out what truly someone's pain is, and what it is that they're even looking to say yes to, and then going in and being able to convey who you are and your unique identity, and come to an agreement with somebody, rather than the benefit throwing that we're seeing left and right. And it was the same thing with building a team. I built a team because from the very beginning, intentionality-wise, I knew that I wanted to continue to coach my kids' soccer teams, baseball games. We won our 8th grade championship last night. Yeah. And I didn't want to have to sacrifice my time for my family, for the time of my family. So I created a team out of wanting to serve all of the rest of the people in the industry and seeing how difficult it was for new agents. And we had an abundance of business so that I can share this with them, help them learn the business, help them grow, and selfishly help me as well, right? But we do that together, we grow together, and keeping them accountable. We have a morning huddle every morning, 9 a.m. for a half an hour, where we go over whatever it is that is on their minds. I'm training with my coaching business, Unblinded, all morning. I bring it to them. I want to make sure that they're not only accountable, motivated, but that they're actually intentional around the things that they're doing to gain and cause the business. So that is, the team was built out of necessity, and it's kept now because we're attracting that type of energy.
Can I say something? I also hate the word scripting, but I completely 100% agree with you. It's showing value and listening and asking as many questions as you can think of with the consumer. Because the more you can help them, the more they're gonna love you.
Yeah, I'll give you one quick tip, and you wanna write it down. Where have you been? Where are you now? Where are you going? What's working? What's not working? That's the framework of the 5 questions that I don't have to think, I don't have to script. Where have you been? What brought you here today? Why did you take the phone call? What's making you think about selling? What did it feel like when you first bought this house? What were the things you were looking for 25 years ago? What are the things that have changed? Like, start to create the past for them and build that story to get to the present, what they're looking for in the future, find out the challenges, and find out what's working. Typically, when you ask someone what's working and what's not working, they go right to what's not working. And then you're able to expose integriously what the gap is, what you can solve for them, rather than throwing a bunch of crap at the wall and hoping some of it sticks. You can actually serve people for what they need. And the great news is, if you're doing your ecosystem merging correctly and you have the right partners, even if you're not the right person for them, there's someone in your ecosystem that could be. So it's always about adding value, but asking those questions, because it's not about me, it's about what the value that I can bring to the person. So.
Awesome. Amanda, you are newer to the business. What are some of your secrets on lead generation and prospecting? And specifically, can you share with the group what you shared with me about when you go to show in a building or hang a sign hanging around?
Yeah, sure. So for me, going back to the story that you mentioned, I mentioned to Margaret that part of why I've had the success that I've had is because I try to really make myself available and present. So I was early to a showing that was for my listing, and I was just standing outside. It was a nice day. And as I was standing outside, the next door neighbor was outside and getting his mail, and he saw my sign and was like, "Oh, you're a realtor?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he started talking to me about how he owned this investment property for over 30 years. His kids don't want to take it over, so now he wants to sell. And I'm like, "Oh, great. Let's talk about that. I have 15 minutes." So we started talking about it. I got the listing, and I think that just goes to show that I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity if I was sitting in my car, just scrolling on Instagram, or I know I've done that before, but I'm trying not to do that anymore. But it's just, yeah, being present, approachable, neighborly, and I feel like, again, going back to that attraction, you're gonna attract that positive energy and people will wanna work with you. And as Margaret mentioned, I am newer to the business, so this is my second year. And a challenge that I faced was just competing against all these rock star agents who have been in the business for a number of years. And to overcome this challenge, I feel like I really needed to brand myself and invest in my business. And what that entailed was investing in my marketing, my social media, making sure everything looks streamlined and professional. And then I feel like, yeah, that's just try to find a way to differentiate yourself so that people want to work with you and not someone else.
One of the things you shared with me when we talked was that you have to look at every single thing as an opportunity, even if you're going to get a cup of coffee, that it's an opportunity to meet somebody that could be a potential client. And I found that like super inspirational.
Yes. I think it's what you said about the long game. It's like you never know who you're going to meet, and it's the long game where it could be someone getting a cup of coffee or at Target, and you just want to make a good impression. And I think that also teaches you to just always be like a good person, and people want to work with you.
Stella, we've talked about how you went from having 2 jobs to 1, and how did you know it was the right time though? And what was your secret sauce for your lead generation so that you went in, your business continued to grow?
So I had been planning to leave my corporate job probably for about 3 years. And so I mentioned that I am a real estate investor myself. And I did start investing in real estate pretty early on in my career. So I needed to make sure that I was comfortable leaving a corporate salary position and pivoting into real estate kind of at a baseline that I was used to. I had a house, I had a mortgage, I had children, I had certain things that I knew needed to be paid for, and so I know leaving a corporate job to come full-time into real estate can sometimes be challenging, especially if you don't have everything lined up and you don't have consistent business coming in. So I think I knew it was the right time when I had purchased enough doors, we call them doors in the investment world, to kind of offset that salary that I was giving up. But then the business that I had built through all of my connectors ended up becoming too heavy of a load for me to carry simultaneously with my corporate career. I was basically drowning in work, and it was just time. So I had the opportunity to raise my hand at my corporate job and pivot over. And I haven't looked back since. I probably should have done it a really long time ago, but it was just my own comfort level. I just needed to be mentally ready for it. My secret sauce goes back to my relationships. I think it's really important to always vet your relationships, whether it's just with friends, business professionals, whatever it is. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Everyone knows that. My clients know that. So when I'm given a task, I take it very personally because somebody has made the decision to give me their problem or their challenge and to say, I trust you and I need you to run with this and I need you to help me. So I think building the business on that trust and credibility is really my secret sauce.
Our sphere is our people who know us, love us, trust us, and want to see us succeed. If we're not tapping into them, it's just lost opportunity, right? Caldwell Banker is so blessed to have all of you represent our brand. What one thing can you share here and leave with the audience can take away and put in their artillery? I'll start here, Karen.
So this panel's been awesome. I've spoken on panels before, and you guys are all rocking, so that's really exciting. So thank you, you've been great. We appreciate it. Consistency and schedule. That's the key to marketing and lead gen. I am very scheduled. I never used to be, but I never really had to be. So we also I do an 8:05 staff huddle 4 days a week. We do a team huddle 8:55. I have a social media coordinator, my daughter who has her own company, who's right there. And I film every Monday at 11 o'clock. It's in my calendar. We know when we're gonna drop off gifts to our clients every single month. I know when the postcards are going out. So, we plan out pretty much the whole year. And if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't get done ever. So I think that really is, once again, I think when you listen to any panel, it doesn't matter how many houses you sell. Just take away a few things and then adapt that into your business model. But consistency is key, because if you're not consistent, you really are wasting the money and the time.
For me, my one thing that I would say is it's all about mindset. I mean, we get up every single day, we have to be self-motivated because it's us, right? We have to make it happen. So I am so blessed to be on this panel because I've heard, and to really be colleagues with every single person in this room, because this is a family, a Coldwell Banker family. But I've heard a lot on the panel around like mindset and the ways different individuals up here do things and execute their business. But you have to make that commitment not only to yourself every single morning. It's true that you're gonna get out what you put in. So find that challenge that the client has and find a way to overcome the challenge. If you get yourself in that mindset of how you're gonna get someone from point A to point B, it'll just start being in motion for you. And look, I have my days too where I feel totally crushed by this business. You had a really big deal that you've been working on, or you have that client that's just totally drained you and they went and bought it for sale by owner, and it happens. But take a day off, go for a walk, whatever it is that like brings you joy, and then the very next day you have to get up and you have to reset and start over again. So it's really about mindset.
I love that. Can you raise your hand if you felt crushed like yesterday about something? So I think it's going to happen no matter what. So I think taking that mindset is great. I don't want to add anything that's unnecessary here. I want to thank you, Margaret. I want to thank Joe Sarker, my broker at Ridgewood, because you've been instrumental in helping our team get to where we are now. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody here. And if I had to leave you with one thing, I would say take a picture of that screen and follow everybody on there and reach out. I would love to share more about anything that you want to hear about and what we do in our process. It's my pleasure. It's why I'm here, right? And one story I want to share quickly. The reason I'm actually at Coldwell Banker, and we didn't talk about this, but the reason I'm here at Coldwell Banker in the first place is because of what we do. We look for relationships by having shared experiences and looking for places to have microphone and stages. And we actually got, I had my partners booked on stage with NAREP, and Virginia Camano was the president at the time, and we started talking about that, and that's how I ended up here at Coldwell Banker. So relationships come from shared experiences come from doing things with the people that you want to do business with. So it works, and give us a call.
Amanda?
Yes, I would say trust the process. I think here at Coldwell Banker we have such great leaders and knowledgeable ones too. So ask them questions, ask them to help you put together a process, and then trust it and keep going and don't quit, because you could be so close to just getting your next listing or next deal. You just have to keep going and don't give up on yourself.
Let's give all our panelists a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you guys.